How's it going, everyone? Circling up from the mosh pit. We have a new VTuber on the scene, at least new to this channel. Wow. My brain was like, get it right. And I'm like, absolutely. And then I got it wrong. ParaNorma, with their song Skeletons. If you guys didn't see my little short video, she did an open verse challenge, and I, dropped something on it. I think I did it pretty okay. But you guys let me know. I will link that in the description here. But yeah, let's see what her song is. I know she's come out with a couple songs and covers. If you want me to check out more of those, let me know in the comments after this. Ooh. Ooh, I love this. I like this kind of, however they do this synth style. It sounds almost old-timey.
Don't like being afraid. Scared to look at the girl in the mirror, staring back at me. Trapped inside from my own decisions. Look to the cost, they told me the future. Be free as a queen, I'll live as the jester. I do it for me, no one can take that away. Again,
Ooh, okay, so first of all, saying again at the end of the line, it might just mean that that's technically the start of the next sentence, like, again, I'm going to do this thing. Or she's been here before in saying, hey, I got to get over this again because maybe I tried before and then I fell back into it. Yeah, trying to live as the queen, but it's tempting to be seen as a jester. We kind of talked about that in one of the previous videos where we looked at Golden from K-pop Demon Hunters, where they were saying, I was put on the throne, but I didn't feel like the queen, basically. There's so many ways that we can just be dissociated from reality. We can have so much greatness in ourselves and in our lives, and we just don't see it because there's so much insecurity we have in our hearts. Great example. I left a career field that I had been in for almost a decade, and because of burnout and a couple other things, I left that career field and I started at the bottom of a whole different career path, and I didn't know how much I had dread for feeling like I was worthless because I wasn't in that field anymore that I thought I was good at. And I sat there like, well, who are you? You're 30 and you're doing this? Like, what is your problem? And I was like, oh, I didn't know that I had this insecurity about my worth and value with a job. So anyway, just one little side note. Yeah, let's just keep going here. I really like the instrumental here. Oh, live free as a queen. Be a queen or live as a jester. I get that. Same point still stands, even though I totally messed up the lyrics.
No one can take that away. Again, I've got skeletons in my closet.
We all do.
I'm not afraid to face them now, but used to have them locked in. But today I'm gonna let them out. These skeletons in my closet. I'm not afraid to face them now.
That's good. That's good. Also, as I'm sure anyone could tell you, when you're worried about those skeletons in the closet, you realize that we all have those. Every last one of us. We just have sort of gotten it ingrained in our heads and in our society that you need to lock those away. That it's not appropriate for social constructs to be open in that way. Even though ultimately, the more you're open with other people, the more you realize you don't have to hide who you are because everybody goes through stuff. But no, somehow along the line we were told, oh, you can't just be open like that. I think it's because there's a lot of people who can hurt you from that information, but the reality is we all make mistakes. We all have stuff we're not proud of. And, it's just the more we normalize that, maybe we don't all have to have a powwow about it, but at least being normal about it is important. It's a very big part of healing and that sort of thing. So I also love the visuals here, very stylized. yeah.
Trapped in a box of circumstances. Dreams that I had came back to haunt my days. I know it's all about me. You'll see things that come and see. Say misery loves company, but that lifestyle's not for me. I'm to be free. They tell me I was like, get out of your mind. But tonight I'm gonna open up that door, take a peek inside, see what I find.
Interesting. So, admittedly, this is the only earpiece in these headphones that work, so I wasn't hearing every little thing, and some of the bass kind of was blurring out what I could hear. But I really like the flow right there. I just say I couldn't hear it very well because I was trying to hear if we started on one or on the offbeat with her rapping. But the flow was very consistent, very, very nice. It felt very buttery smooth. So...
I know it's all about me. You'll see things that come and see. Say misery loves company, but that lifestyle's not for me. I'm to be free. They tell me I was like, get out of your mind. But tonight I'm gonna open up that door, take a peek inside, see what I find.
Nice. So it's kind of like she punched in early. Da 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 da. Like, just, you know, instead of kind of letting the beat go like da 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 da. Da 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 da. She's just da 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 da, which is cool. You kind of have to be on top of your writing, especially because too often when you do that and you don't have enough syllables to fill the line, it can feel like you're starting off pretty good and then there's just silence afterwards, which is another reason why some people kind of like to nestle but in the middle of each line, because you don't really have to worry about stretching out your verses in order to fit the beat, because you might not have very many words to say or whatever. So the fact that she did it that way is really cool. I like that. So.
It costs to show me here and now. Sit in the table, fight for a way out. My voice will be heard. No one can take that away. Again, I got skeletons in my closet.
I love the bass on this. I'm just going to say, I'm assuming that we, used font that we either have ownership over or it's, like a free font and stuff. I would absolutely wear something like that. Like that with the skeleton motif on the side, like kind of faded out, but you can still see it's clearly a skeleton. With that skeleton font on there, I would wear a hoodie with that on it in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. Let me know when the merch is dropping. Nice little picture change as well. Oh, with the door open, I didn't see that. That's good. Wait. Ooh, that's Harley in the background. That was good. Nice. Nice little bit crunch refrain there. Ooh. That was a nice little bit of production there. Kind of everything just like sort of fading out in a bit crushed format. I like that. Very cool. I feel like that ties back into what I was thinking with the synth anyway, kind of feeling like an old-timey like Wave Racer type game, soundtrack or something. Also, B, I like how we already have this sweet little playlist here of other music here. If you guys want me to check that out, please let me know. And yeah, if ParaNorma or anyone on our team ends up seeing this, you guys did awesome. This was dope. Really, really like this. And I'm glad that you let those skeletons out. And that's all I got to say about that. Thanks for watching, everybody.